A quick welcome to everyone. I see about 15 participants in total. So welcome, welcome. Thank you. I see some new faces and some familiar faces as well. So I just want to say that today we are so happy to be partnering with Mr. Vahnie on behalf of Freedom's United Church of Christ. We are, I see familiar faces, so you'll know this, but I'll repeat it for all, that we are a Protestant denomination on the south side of Indianapolis. We like to say no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Indeed, we are an O&A congregation, which means that we stand by those words, that regardless of marital status, sexual orientation, gender identity, socioeconomic category, all of those identity pieces, we have a place for you here at Freedom's United Church of Christ. If you want to know more about us through the conversation today, of course, stay tuned into this for the hour, but you can also navigate to freedomsucc.org to learn more about our congregation, as well as Pastor Sarah has provided her contact information in the chat box. As we discuss today, I can help Mr. Vahnie, I can help to monitor that chat box as well. So if you have a thought or a question or would want to hear more about something, I can be of some technical assistance to monitor that chat box, or ask any questions that you might have. And if it's something that I can answer or that Pastor Sarah can answer, I'm sure we'll provide that answer to you. It is our tradition to begin these gatherings with some moments of just quiet reflection. So I'm going to invite us to do that now. So if you're sitting or standing on the couch, at a desk, chair, wherever you are, let's just get a little bit comfortable, just so that we're, sometimes we need just a deep breath, don't we? If you're comfortable to do so, feel free to let your eyes just kind of take a downward gaze, even close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. I like to take a big deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Another deep breath in. You might feel the weight of your body in the seat. You might just quickly scan, starting at the top of the head, all the way down through the body. Maybe feeling sensations in your shoulders, maybe in your chest or belly as you take deep breaths in and out. And if you're comfortable doing so, whatever is your tradition, I'm going to offer some words from our tradition, words of prayer or meditation or reflection. And we greet the God of the Genesis story today, who ordered chaos into creation. The God of the garden, who affirmed that there is a divine spark in every single living person. And then when we see each other in our full humanity, this is a window into that sacred and divine spark that is within us. So no matter the shape of your body, the shade of your body, your abilities, we know that we are connected through creation, through the Creator, and through this divine spark that brings us together. So as we hear about the experiences of our friends and siblings from Burma, Myanmar, through Mr. Vahnie today, may we stretch our moral imagination to wonder what it would be like to be in the body of another that is affirming our place in this divine creation that we are lucky to participate in the world. With one last deep breath, you may open your eyes if you're comfortable to do so. Allow your gaze to adjust to the Zoom screen. We see smiling faces in front of us, and we are just so honored to welcome Mr. Vahnie, the Executive Director, who's going to share with us all of his terrific work for our neighbors and friends here in the Southside Indianapolis community and indeed around the world. So with that, I'll wrap up and I'll hand things over to Mr. Vahnie. Thanks to everyone for being here today.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Hayden, for your nice introduction. Thank you, Pastor Sarah, for this opportunity to be connected with the church, Freedom Church, as well as all of you. This is truly a blessing for me and our community and our organization. Today, I would like to begin with sharing, perhaps is if you allow me to do that, the screen. Uh, I believe when we started our conversation with Pastor Sarah, we did not know actually the coup would happen. We were thinking to just have a conversations of the Burmese American community here in Indianapolis and see ways in which we can collaborate, work together, share and fellowship each other. Unfortunately, in that process, the coup happened in February 1st, which has caused us emotional distress, traumatized myself and a lot of our community members, church members, bringing us back our community and the people of Burma here to so many years of repressions, violations, and abuses of their own citizens. So, if you allow me, I would like to share very briefly, first of all, what's happening in Burma and how we are facing these difficulties to overcome, and also look at ways in which we can all be supportive for the Burmese people here and as well as inside Myanmar. As mentioned, the military coup happened on February 1st. They staged seizure of the power from civilian government led by Daw Aung San Suu Kyi, a state councillor, and President U Win Mint, and the vice president and parliamentarian leaders. They claim 2020 November election was fraud, and they discredit. However, the election commission dismissed that claim. But that claim was made by the military, and the military, of course, has the guns to be able to take over the power from the civilian government and arrested all of these leaders along with other civic leaders, activists, human rights activists, and faith leaders as well, and put them in detention. The first week of the aftermath of this event, the people of Myanmar responded with shock and protest from their homes. Bangi pots and pans, which apparently was originated from Italy, rejected the military rule and showing that they want peace and freedom. And the military responded, shutting down internet, Facebook, social media, Twitter. So for a few days, Myanmar was dark. We all were very worried that we might go back to those dark days. So many years of isolations from international community, completely cut off from the world. And then global protest showing solidarity with the people of Myanmar happened across the world, included right here in Indianapolis. We formed immediately the action group Free Myanmar Campaign USA under the leadership of here at the BACI, bringing all ethnic groups of Myanmar and our friends, American friends, to help end the military dictators there, and also to restore democratic process in the country through three basically fronts. One, organizing protest and awareness and events. The second, to also help inside civilian people, those who are facing challenge and even have a difficulty to have access to basic needs such as food, healthcare, and other supplies. And also, we have started to engage with the international community, especially our government, the United States government, Indiana government, legislators, and expressing our concerns and seeking their help to topple down the military. And that protest process inside Myanmar escalated very quickly. And in February 22nd, we saw a large protest across the nation where at least 7 millions Burmese inside participate in one single day. And that continues major cities, small cities, villages across Myanmar. They don't stop. And the military responded brutally of these peaceful unarmed civilians with their brutal acts. And some people have been shot dead, left ammunitions, rubber bullets, and some people beat it at the space of the ground. Some people arrested and tortured to death in detention jails. Now, uh, more than over 50 people have died. A lot of them are young people, and hundreds of Jews. And now nearly 2,000 people have been detained. And you will see on the left by the name of Mirtete Kind. She's 21. She became the first person to lost her life in defense of freedom and the people. So that's a little bit of what's happening at the moment as we speak. The Burmese military is even raiding the homes, civilians, the wards, the blocks, arrest whoever resists them. And this is just one reflection point of what the Burmese people has been facing in the past 70 years. So since 2010, we started the Burmese American Community Institute to respond the increasing need of the Burmese community who fled their cruelty in Burma. And this will tell us the number, a little bit of the number of the Burmese refugees right now in the U.S. Since 2000, the U.S. as a leader in providing hope, protection, and the land of opportunity, the land of freedom, has welcomed nearly 200,000 Burmese refugees to different states and cities across the U.S. And of them, around 34,000 have become the Hoosier community here in Indiana. And around 24,000 of them are calling Indianapolis their new home. And one thing I want to point out here is many of the refugees in Indianapolis, approximately 37 to 42% of them moved to Indianapolis from different cities and states because of some reasons. Notably, Indianapolis has been recognized a welcoming community where it offers economic uh, opportunities job opportunities, and also a relatively a livable community. And that also is in line with the notion that Indianapolis is the crossroad of America where the logistic hubs, factories, manufacturing companies, a lot of them are located so that these refugees can get a job more easily than some other areas of the US. In doing so, in helping assist this community, the Burmese American community registered as a nonprofit 501c3 with a vision of education for all, a stronger community. And when we say education, this is really both informal and formal. Formal, where our children, our brothers and sisters, those who can obtain certifications, diplomas, college, we work with them very closely so that they can attain that opportunity. And informal, we also believe that all the generations, our parents, those who have not had a chance to get education in Burma, or it will not be possible for them to go back to school to have an informal education, at least to be able to understand the new culture, the community we are part of, so that they are integrated well. This is their city, this is their home, this is their community. They have the responsibility to integrate and live cohesively with incoming community who open their arms and welcome us to start our new life here. So we are grateful. We can emphasize enough to be grateful to be able to join this new community. And our mission is to build a thriving, self-sufficient, sustainable, integrated community through advocacy, education, and employment. We quite focus on advocacy. Advocacy can be individual needs, advocacy, a school district, the classroom, and a hospital, and a job place, as well as the community need here, like this, sit down together and have a conversation how we can come together and help each other, and so that we all are better off in the long run. And we also work with the national government, legislators, great senators, uh, representatives, as well as international refugee protection. International refugee protection need has not stopped even in the past 10 years. For example, the thousands of Burmese refugees are still in neighboring countries such as India, Malaysia, and Thailand, still looking for long-term protection. Now, when we do this, our core values include openness and inclusiveness. We particularly emphasize inclusiveness because Burma represents a multi-ethnic and religious groups. That is one of the root causes of the problem in Burma. The Burman majority did not recognize other minorities like us, Chin Christians, Korean Christians, to be equal people like them, to live in a country, a democratic country. So here, when we are privileged, we enjoy freedom, we want to make sure that everyone, regardless of their ethnicity, no matter how big they are, how small they are, how weak, strong, we want them to feel they belong to here together. They are not marginalized, they are not neglected. And our approach is long term. We want to see this community becoming, as a community, productive part of the society, as opposed to rely upon taxpayers' money, public assistance. So we put every effort we possibly can to achieve that goal. And I'd like to share with you also some of the service outcome impact we have seen in the past few years, 10 years. Uh, uh, we particularly notably see the achievement of high school students. Those who have participated in our program have gone on to college or higher education, 100% of them. And most of them do so with some scholarships, financial assistance, and particularly we are delighted to see the increase of college going rate from around 43% back in 2013 to 91% last year. Uh, we are happy with this. And then in terms of here, we uh, focus on 4 or 5 areas of service in addition to high school focus programs. Another one is employment and micro enterprise development project, where community members are provided assistance with the job placement, job training, as well as provided technical assistance with small business startups from scratch to operational level. Uh, and also another area of service is civic and culture education program, where we provide English training, mostly adult learners, so that they are able to take the test of civics, English, and citizenship and pass and become active citizens of the US in civic matters. We not only want them to become just citizens of the US, but good citizens by participating in the voicing and be really fully part of the community by exercising their rights and responsibilities. And we also have been working with some other projects, research, collaborating with uh, quite a number of uh, uh, universities, Indiana University, Bloomington, Purdue University, Notre Dame, Ball State, IUPUI, Indy, to mention a few, to really investigate what is that the issues are in our community and try to address that issue in a mutually beneficial way with the data, supported decision making. And we also host regularly the events where uh, newcomers, that is basically Burmese refugees, also immigrants and receiving community can come together and learn more about each other, their culture, their history, their language, norms, so that promote a greater understanding in our community. Uh, so we are happy that we have been able to assist more than 10,000 actually. Most recent data indicate we have assist individuals, uh, that 10, 13,000 individuals with all those service area. And I like to also share with you, uh, though many of them have struggles with language barriers, cultural barriers, these Burmese are hardworking people. They really put their effort, buy cars, they quickly establish their credit. Some of them, many of them indeed work two full-time jobs, and I get houses, cars, and properties so that they can also contribute back to the community. So probably if maybe I'm not sure if I take too long, and if Mr. Hayden, please stop me. Uh, uh, I'm careful about myself because I can talk 24 hours about this. Uh, and if anyone has questions or comments on the way, I like to this to be a more of conversational one.
Good. Well, if you're asking for time limits, I'm the wrong person to ask, as my friends will tell you, because I can go and go. Um, no, I think this is terrific information. So please continue. I know that we are. I can look around the screen and everyone is really focused on this. It's terrific information. So please take the time that you need.
Thank you very much. So a little bit, if I may go back to the history of Myanmar, a little bit, Myanmar is a multi-ethnic state where eight major ethnic groups. Burman is considered to be the majority. The seven others, Chin, Kachin, Kaya, Karen, Mor, Rakhine, Shan, are ethnic minorities. And within that main groups, there are around 135 sub-ethnic groups. So you will see this, this is extremely diverse state. And most of the Burmese you probably encountering here in Indianapolis are Chins. They concentrated in the south side here, myself in the south side. And just within Chin, there are around 75 subgroups and dialects. So this is in many ways beautiful, colorful. Uh, Sometimes it is challenging, especially when we deliver services. But we like to see this as a strength in diversity. So those eight major ethnic groups actually formed Union of Burma back in 1948 when they gained independence from British. Before that, since time immemorial, these ethnic states are ruled by themselves, not under one another. Uh, they reached an agreement, what is known as Panglao Agreement in 1947. This is based on the principles of democracy, freedom, and self-determination. And this person you will see right here, General Aung San or U Aung San, is the person who led that process. And he also is the father of Daw Aung San Suu Kyi, de facto leader, state councilor who was just arrested and put in a house arrest. And he is a Nobel Peace Laureate. And uh, the Burmese military, the Burman, has always been fearful of her, and they insert one article section in the constitution that prohibit her from becoming the president of Burma because she married to a late a British man and she has a British citizens. That article says whoever has a foreign blood relations, that she or he should not become the president of Burma. And to go through very briefly the history, you will see here 2000, we gained independence, though there was a democratically elected government for the first about 20 years. Uh, that government declared Buddhism as a state religion, and since that they started to suppress other religions like Christians. In 1962, another coup happened. led by General Ne Win, and similar suppression of the whole country, especially other ethnic minorities, this time also those who immigrated from India and South Asia, because a lot of them came into Burma in Second World War. And then in 1988, General Tan Shui, Senior General Tan Shui took another power and suppressed again. And if we look at these three persons, what they have just done is ethnic cleansing policy. They have been tried to implement to clean up all ethnic minorities, religious minorities, in which they want to establish only Burman, Buddhism, only one language that is majority spoken language of Burma. Uh, but they realize that they will not be able to sustain that type of strict military grip of power in 21st century. So they designed the constitution for 20 years under the leadership of Tan Shui, which appears to be democracy superficially, but inside all powers are resident in the military. Mainly because the rationale of that designing is they want to protect their powers and their security. Because they have committed crime against humanity, grave crimes, war crimes, in the process of implementing ethnic cleansing policy for more than half century. Now they know if democracy is really established in Burma, they are going to be brought into justice. So they want to control the power so that they still maintain their power. This person, Janamin Aulai, was assigned as commander-in-chief in 2010 and continued to be the key power holders in the past 10 years. And he is the coup leader who declared state of emergency and now assumed as the chairman of State Administration Council, the military administration. And this is the way how this 2008 constitution was designed, and all powers are rested in the military. So now what will be the solution now that this is going? You know, people are dying on the streets. How we possibly will be able to overcome these struggles? Number one, we need a united, first of all, a unified and strong response to the military action, which so far we are seeing, except in terms of international community, China and Russia, uh, we unfortunately not able to support democratic movement in Burma. So we see basically three key stakeholders. One is the people, the civilian, the people really those who taken into streets every day, protesting against the military, the junta, and also participating in civil disobedience movement that is designed to cripple the military institutions, the military run institutions, so that they are unable to continue to function and collapse. Uh, and this is a critical component. This is really something that need the support. Think about this. Imagine that the people in Burma, those who just are barely able to make their livelihood by going to work, paycheck to paycheck, and now they are not working anymore. So there's going to be a huge humanitarian crisis as well. Uh, in fact, we are seeing already. So that's something we are asking all our friends, international community, diaspora community, to give a close attention and do what we are able to do to help civilians, the poor and vulnerable population. And the second stakeholder is ethnic communities, ethnic minorities, seven of them. And now we need to be united. We need to see this as a real opportunity to achieve a real democracy, which is to unitedly come, work with all stakeholders, table the type of constitution we want, and that also has the support of the international community. And the international community, particularly the United States, we are so grateful that we have a great senator, Senator Tonya, who has become a great friend of us, a very good friend of us, who sponsored a bill in the Senate 3 days after the coup. And now we hope this will get enough sponsorship and go to the floor and the bipartisan support in Washington, D.C., so that the executive branch will be able to implement. And first of all, a strong, targeted, coordinated economic and diplomatic section on the military leaders, the associates, their own businesses, so that their hands is tightened and hopefully will change the behavior of the military. And the second, the president, uh, Joe Biden, also has declared a national emergency, saying that the military actions in Burma is a threat to the national security of the United States, rightfully so, because Burma is located just in the south side of China, who is asserted its power, becoming global power, a very important geographical strategic location. And if we lost Burma to China, then this will have resounding implications of the U.S. interest abroad, which is a threat to our national security in many years to come. Uh, so we are asking the U.S. to put more resources coordinated with our allies in the region, Japan, South Korea, India, Southeast Asian countries, as well as European Union, Canada as well, to really tighten sanction upon the military. And we're also asking the US leadership to push the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice to speed up the process of the cases already filed with them for the crimes they have committed against ethnic minorities in the past so many years, and to add what they have, the crimes just they have committed. They are killing, they are murdering innocent people. In that way, these generals will be held accountable once and for all. Ultimately, what we would like to see is the military leaders and the military institution is rooted out of national politics, firmly placed under civilian government and sustainable way. So we need the U.S. leadership, not only in just economic section, but really supporting the people like our diaspora here and to intervene as much as possible. And it is, of course, a little bit contentious even to use drones and missiles to prevent further violence coming from the military generals. But we all agree that violence is not good, military action is not good. Even one single life lost is too much lost already. We don't want to see that again. We want to avoid. However, if it is to protect more lives, then we are asking the US to consider that option as well. And finally, uh, as you will see here, we can see China uh, is already pushing what it calls its Belt and Road Initiative and considered to be the most ambitious project ever conceived in this planet. He is trying to assert its power not just in the region but globally. So this places a huge challenge for the US, but we are also seeing this as a real opportunity for the US to reposition itself to counterbalance China's influence in the region and globally. Uh, and if possible, this will be again, I want to emphasize a high level diplomacy uh, as opposed to military conflict. And easily, Myanmar, Burma, as you can see, will be a better ground for the military action. But one good news is when it comes to federal democracy, real democracy, all these seven ethnic minorities in the Burma, the majority themselves all agree to have a real democracy. Uh, so we would like to capitalize those trends and opportunity. However, this will be a challenge, a huge challenge for the Burmese people and the international community. And we are still day and night praying and also seeking the US support. Probably I should stop there, and I would like to have your uh, indeed will be appreciated, your thoughts, your suggestions, your comments. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vahnie. That was a terrific and informative presentation that really clearly outlined the problem, but then also offered kind of this united solution. So it's terrific to see those positioned together, helps us to better understand the situation and helps us to maybe identify what's needed. So I think it's a great idea to pause now and to have some dialogue. So there were a couple of questions that were in the chat box, but also feel free to unmute and let's have a little dialogue. Good. So as we're thinking, Ellen Weimer, Ellen W. I know we have a couple of Ellens on, has asked about, what is some support from the Southside community that's helpful? If we could have some examples, groups who could help at the local level, I think that would be would give some action to this group that we could move forward with. So if you have some ideas, Mr. Vahnie, I think this group would love to hear them.
Thank you for that questions. So since we heard this news on February 1st, we formed Free Myanmar Campaign USA. And in that campaign, we have three tasks basically. Number one is to organize events, protests to raise awareness among our friends, our neighbors, and we have organized two events in the downtown and another uh, in Bloomington, Indiana University Bloomington yesterday. So we intend to organize a series of these events in coming weeks and months. So your participation, your support will be greatly appreciated in that effort. And part of that, I think, like this meeting is helpful as well, where we can share and we can have conversation the issue. Uh, I was privileged to speak similar, but here topic similar arrangement at IUPUI and Paddy University Lafayette also is organizing for us, and the UND would like to continue this effort. So anyone you know, your connections, either a church or communities or organization who will be interested to have further conversation will be, I believe, helpful. And then the second category will be to actually help civil disobedience movement in Myanmar. Any cent count. We have a platform of online platform, GoFundMe, that anyone can donate as much as they can. Uh, Also, checks can be sent to the BACI office as well, indicated that this is for civil disobedience movement for their basic needs. And I think another layer will be to encourage our congressmen, representatives, the senators to continue to push Washington, D.C. for the urgent need in Burma.
Terrific. Three good examples of ways that this group can help. So let's see, Pastor Tom and Rick Spleth, who I do not know, are having some good dialogue here about kind of the geopolitical situation in Sri Lanka and discussing as well China's involvement there. So I think it sounds like some affinities, or at least some common ground with concerns about China and in the region. That is not an area that I know about at all. So that was my very best at helping to articulate that. So both to Rick and to Tom, if I've not done a good job, please let me know what I've missed, or if there's more comments or questions that arise from that. I'm also reading John's question, but I'm going to have to have to read it. Yeah, so lifting up this terrific 91% college participation is quite a metric in the community. That is impressive. I'm wondering if that same percent applies to the Chin community on the South Side, and is financial support for scholarships needed? So Mr. Vahnie, that's a good question. Are there ways to support on the South Side around this kind of college enrollment rate?
Thank you so much for that. Two great questions. Number one, the last questions. Yes, basically that is the success that we're seeing in the South Side, the Burmese population, Chin population. Actually, that represent more correctly in our community. We also survey other communities, Texas, Michigan. They're slightly lower than us, but we are doing better than any other Burmese communities as well. But however, that 91 is an average of the whole Burmese. And that success is really possible because of the support we are receiving from the community, the stakeholders here, school districts, Perry Township School District, leadership, teachers, staff. They are doing everything they can to provide the best possible education for everyone, including especially newcomers, those who are struggling with their English. And one thing that I like to share with you in terms of the benefits of diversity that is very much evidence-based. When the Burmese joined the school district, there was some concerns that they might cause the delay the pace of learning and therefore negatively impact the school district as a whole. But it turns out that it's the opposite. After a lot of people, students join, the performance of Perry Township School District has gone up as a whole. Uh, and this is, again, relevant, applicable to everyone, workforce, or anywhere research project. Diversity contributes to productivity, innovation, and therefore result as well. And ways in which we always need tutors, we always need help with the programs, sometimes application of their college, sometimes just review their essay and provide feedback when they apply for college applications. And also when we have events, appreciation, celebrated the achievement, uh, we need you come and celebrate with us. That certainly encourage them, their parents, appreciate the support. Uh, Again, we are grateful um, that the universities as well are actively working with us very closely in the admissions process. And we hope, we certainly want to sustain this achievement in the long run. And first time we started this organization back in 2010, uh, I was running around looking for space to give some tutoring. I did not have my home either. I was a small apartment, and we found a basement in Perry Township Government Center. That's how we started. And I drove students, I pick up, I tutored them, drove them back to home. They did not have transportation, those who can provide a ride. And but I work 16 hours per day, 7 days a week. I visit their parents, churches every Saturday, Sunday. And one thing uh, always in my mind, what encourages me is when I see the faces of these students, I see that they are going to be successful. They are capable of learning, they are capable of achieving their dream, but we just need to provide them the right type of direction and resources. And when we do that, they will be successful. And that success is not just for them, for the parents, the school district, and the community, and our city, and perhaps to some extent, the society as a whole. So now we are exactly see this. I'm so happy. A lot of them went on to college, come back, and doing quite good job in their respective professional life. A lot of them have assumed nursing, medical assistants, teachers, have started businesses, and they are also leading nonprofit organizations. Even now, here the BACI itself is run by those students who went through that tutoring program. So I'm so grateful, and it's just so rewarding. Uh, but we need to keep doing this. My prayer is if we continue to do this another 10 years, 20 years, I think we should have every confidence that that generation will be able to lead us and make this city, this state even greater, more prosperous state for our children. Uh, so uh, I think again I can talk this a long time, uh, but let me also, if I may, touch a little bit on the China, the complexity in the region. Pastor Tom mentioned uh, uh, the China main and primary interest is economic activities. They projected that in the next 50 years, the gas, that is the energy, uh, going to be to China will be through Burma, and 40% of total supply of energy will go through Burma, either from Burma itself or neighboring countries. And that is key for China to become more economically developed, assertive power. The gas is really important. So they want to make sure whatever government in Burma is, it is stable, stability. Uh, so I think, need to be very careful. We should not underestimate uh, the capacity capabilities of China. However, we should really invest a great deal of resources to counter China. If we don't succeed this time, then again, the the, the regional dynamics, strategics, interests all will be a problem for the United States. Vietnam, they already claim Southside Sea, which is owned to Vietnam, they already claim it's theirs. And Southeast Asia, if they're able to really control, if they control, influence Burma in that level, then Southeast Asia can be considered under the China influence. Uh, so that this will be, I think, the next 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, important strategic interest region that the US will need to be investing high level diplomatic, intensive diplomacy, and increase even its investment in many fronts, not just business investment, education, culture, to really influence the people of Burma to eventually agree to side with our values. And that, of course, is in the long run to serve our national interest.
Good. Well, Mr. Vahnie, thank you so much. We've had both, look into the diplomacy situation on the global stage as well as local actions at home. So a terrific kind of line that we can draw in ways to get involved, but also influence on a global scale. And I know this group is thankful for it. As we are reaching the top of the hour, I think I'm going to hand it off to Pastor Sarah just a moment here to close. I do want to just again say thank you to Mr. Vahnie. I also want to lift up the ministry teams, the outreach ministry team of Freedoms and the Christian education ministry team, that they have decided or they have agreed to provide a donation today for Mr. Vahnie's time that will go to his organization, which is terrific. So thank you to those ministry team leaders. Thanks to all of you for attending. And Sarah, I'll hand it off to you to take it the rest of the way.
Mr. Vahnie, I cannot thank you enough. My words are not adequate to express my appreciation for your leadership in the community, your story about what you did as a tutor and taking people to your homes. I know that is just one example of the many, many, many things you've been doing over the years. So we appreciate that with all you have going on, you would take time to be with us and share with us. I have learned so much and I realize how much more I have to learn. So thank you for your time, your energy, your dedication, your devotion, all the ways you serve. We are grateful for you and we look forward to continuing to partner with you. Also thank Adam. He is the leader of the Freedom's Just Peace Exploratory Team. So thank you for opening and helping to guide the conversation today, Adam. Again, thank you to each of you who have participated. We appreciate your presence. We look forward to continuing to be in conversation with you. I was not planning on praying as a closing out. I was just going to say thank you and have a moment of quiet, but I have to pray. I have to rejoice and celebrate the good work of Mr. Vahnie, and also want to lift up the communities in the ways we can continue to seek wisdom and peace in how we connect for justice and equity for all. So may we breathe in the gift of God's Spirit as we close in prayer. Gracious and loving Creator of all, we praise you, we rejoice in you, we give you thanks for the beautiful diversity of all you have made. We thank you for Mr. Vahnie. We thank you for his leadership and his commitment and dedication and service. We thank you for what we have learned today. We lift up to you Myanmar and the Burmese community near and far. We ask that you would guide us, that we would know how to be good neighbors and partners. We thank you for the ways that you guide us into peace and justice and wholeness. We pray for healing. We pray for those that are helping to overcome the situations that are dangerous to all, especially right now in Burma. And we pray for your continued love and compassion and hope as we move forward as your people near and far. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much for
May
being
I
here
request
today, everyone.
may we take one photo together? Would that be okay?
Sure. Do you know how to do that?
Yes.
Over Zoom? I don't know how to do it over Zoom, but I was thinking it the whole time when you had those slides up. I was like, that would be awesome. Does someone know how to do? I can take it with my phone.
Yes.
If anybody has a more advanced technological method, I would value your. But until then,
Screenshot here if we can see everyone. One, two, three. That's excellent.
all right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so very much, Pastor Sarah, Mr.
Carrie just, if everybody
Hayden,
wants to wait,
everyone.
Carrie just said how to do it. She said
Oh.
how to take a picture of everybody. Type control print.
I grabbed one too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're set. Thank you,
Control print
everybody.
screen, and then you paste it into something to save it. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks all.
Blessings. Peace be with you.
Thank you.